Hello, welcome, and thank you for watching this month's Tarot Talk. I'm intuitive reader Bryan Stafford from Stafford Tarot, and today's Tarot Talk topic is going to be about fortune telling with cards. Now, before I get into that Tarot Talk discussion topic, I'm just going to give some time for some viewers to join me on this live broadcast. While I do that, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what's new at Stafford Tarot and some of the upcoming events to watch for. And then I'll get right into that Tarot Talk topic. And then after we have that brief discussion, I'm going to be offering up to 6 free short remote readings to anyone who shows interest in the chat during this broadcast. So if you're watching this from my website and you're just interested in watching some of these sample readings, just feel free to skip ahead in the video about 20-30 minutes, as I will be offering those free remote readings to those who show interest in the chat during this broadcast. So what's new at Stafford Tarot? I'm always updating the website. Check it out at www.staffordtarot.com. On that website, you can find all the event announcements for upcoming events, helpful tarot tips, reading associations, self-learning exercises, free video lessons, as well as the Stafford Tarot blog, all geared towards and designed towards teaching how to do tarot for yourself if you're interested. There are also many free reading opportunities available on my website. In the event announcements at all of the markets and festivals that I get involved in, I offer free one-card impression pulls while I'm between private sessions at those events. So anyone can come up to me at those events and ask for a free one-card impression pull, and I give them the impression of their energy for the day. I also have my monthly free draw that happens every month. There's a 1 in 5 chance to win. That means that if you get involved in the draw and I get, say, 20 people that get involved, if I get under 25 people, I'm going to choose 5 winners. That way I keep the ratio within 1 in 5. If I get under 20, I'm choosing 4, and etc. So for every 5 people that go in, I select 1 winner. I do actually cut up the names, put them in a hat, and draw the winners, and I only contact the winners. So if you contacted me through Facebook by liking, sharing, or comment a social media post that you saw that mentioned the draw, and you were automatically included in that draw, and you win, I will be contacting you back through Facebook, so probably Facebook Messenger. If you emailed me, I'll contact you back through email, etc. Whatever platform you got involved in the draw is the platform I will return the message. Please check your messages after the draw happens. All that information is available on my website, staffordtarot.com, as well as twice a month. I do offer free full moon and new moon oracle polls available on my website. This gives sort of a brief guide towards the energies of that time, and I've been told by many visitors that it is very helpful to them, so thank you for that. It's very humbling to get that feedback. And then, of course, I have my free online Tarot Talk live events, such as tonight, where I discuss a topic and offer some free short readings. If you're interested to participate in any of the online workshops, please watch for the event announcements at staffordtarot.com. I will be releasing that information and announcing those upcoming dates soon. Some of the upcoming workshops that I'm talking about are the Learn to Do Tarot online workshop. This is an introductory course to doing self-readings with tarot cards using the Rider-Waite-Smith symbolisms. This is the original tarot deck that was first designed with the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery and symbolisms involved. Any deck that has these, that is based on the Rider-Waite, can be used in the workshop. So it doesn't have to be exactly a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. It can be any deck that follows the tarot structure. So it must have the lower arcana, the court cards, the higher arcana cards, as well as, they have the lower arcana needs to be arranged into 4 suits. Those suits can be, the standard suits of cups, wands, pentacles, and what am I forgetting? Cups, wands, pentacles, and swords, or it could be east, west, north, south, or it could be fire, water, um, earth, and what am I forgetting? Fire, water, earth, and the many different combinations of suits that you can use as long as they follow the same tarot structure. So that's really exciting. I'm looking forward to that. And then I have my Spirit Talk online event. This is an introductory to mediumship workshop. This event has been very exciting. I have run it quite a few times online and in person. And what it really is it is not a session for me to give mediumship messages to a group. That's more of a group session, which is different. This is a workshop where I'm teaching the participants of the workshop to deliver messages to each other. So it's really an introductory course to doing mediumship for yourself. It's been a lot of fun. Please check out for those details as they release. And then, of course, as I mentioned, I do have my group mediumship sessions, which are available remotely as well as in person. That is where I am delivering the messages to a group. And that is available for in-person events, parties, corporations, functions. Just check out the information on my website. There's a section on my website called more group events and services. Go into there and you'll see them all listed there, some of the options that are available. Check it all out at staffordtarot.com. Now, some of the upcoming events to watch for, join me at the Midsummer Witches Night Market coming up Friday, July 19th, 2024. I'm going to be there from 6 until 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a great market hosted by Luna Events Canada. It's going to be held at the Royal Canadian Legion, that's branch number 234 in Guelph, Ontario. This is going to be an excellent market with over 40 vendors. Admission is free, plus the first 30 people in the line get a free swag bag, which has little gifts and treats from all the different vendors of the market. So it's great value. Check it out. This Friday, held at the Royal Canadian Legion in Guelph, Ontario. Then I will have my upcoming full moon card pull for the full moon on July 21st, 2024. And I will also release the new moon card pull before the new moon on August 4th, 2024. Again, that gets released on my website and on my social media. Just follow me or visit the website to get that information. And then my next Tarot Talk live event is going to be Tuesday, August 13th, 2024. It's going to start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, similar to tonight. And that Tarot Talk topic is going to be about frequently asked questions regarding tarot. Following that, I'm going to be doing another free draw next month on Monday, August 19th, 2024. I've sort of switched around the order of my events. I'm now doing the Tarot Talk live event before the next upcoming draw so that anyone who doesn't get into my list during the Tarot Talk live event can automatically be included in the next draw, which will be shortly after. So there won't be as long of a wait for that draw to find out if you're a winner. And keep watch for the release of new episodes on my Multidimensional Discussions podcast. I'm really excited about this. This summer will be available at staffordtarot.com/podcast or on YouTube or on other podcast providers. So watch for that. I'm really looking forward to these tarot talk live discussions, getting more intimate and really expanding on some of these topics. All that information is available on my website, staffordtarot.com. Everything's on that website. Everything about me and what I do and my background, who I am, just how I work, all the different options that are available, including, as I said, if you want to learn to do this yourself, I have a fundamental belief that anyone can do this. It's just a matter of tuning in on those skills. And so I offer tools and suggestions, advice and tips on how to do that for yourself. All available, staffordtarot.com. Now, tonight's Tarot Talk topic is about fortune telling with cards. Now, it should really be mentioned that the decisions that we make in the moment can change the direction we take into the future. The actions of ourselves as well as those around us can have direct impact on how our situations unfold in our lives. It's really important to understand that because even if a reading will foretell the future, the decisions that you make between now and that point in time can make the difference. If you don't agree with the way that your future has been foretold, you can make changes in the moment or before that moment in order to probably avoid and have a better desired outcome for yourself. It's a common misconception, actually, that reading tarot cards directly predict the future. The tarot cards really give a viewpoint of two possibilities to come based on the specific moment of the reading. How we relate those messages to our lives is how we gain insight and new perspectives from a tarot reading. That perspective of the future can be influenced by many factors that sometimes those factors can be out of our control or even unforeseen coming. Tarot is considered more of a guidance tool that works with intuition to help solve problems by looking at potential outcomes, not necessarily direct specific outcomes that could come out of that. I prefer to use the word forecast as opposed to foretelling or prediction because the decisions that we make between the time of the reading and the pinpointed time in the future can actually change the outcome of the reading. I also believe that cards are flippable within tarot cards, and I have demonstrated this in previous Tarot Talk live events during the sample readings. But what I mean by that is when you pull out the cards and you have a spread and your cards are displayed on the table, you can decide and make decisions based on the reading that's come out, how you want to go towards the future. If the cards showed an outcome that you really don't desire or you really would like to avoid, one strategy within a tarot reading is to flip the cards to look at the potential outcome of making that change or making that different decision. So flipping the card would allow you to look at the reading differently in a potential type of way. That would allow you to then make the decisions on what you want to have happen in the future. And when you flip the cards back to the way that they came out, it shows you what it is now before making those decisions. I hope that makes sense. I really do believe that tarot is much better at showing you how to achieve your desired outcome as opposed to giving you the specific outcome to expect. So can you actually do fortune telling with cards? Yes, you can, but you have to keep in mind that the future is liquid. Nothing is set in stone. And so the perception from this point on is what you're receiving from a tarot. The potential future outcome based on what things look like now. The changes that you make after now can affect that outcome. And it really allows you to be in control. You are the driving, you're behind the steering wheel in your own life. And so, yeah, sure, some things happen that are unpredictable or unexpected or unavoidable. It's how we approach those events that makes the big difference. And tarot can help us with that insight. How would I approach that certain event? It really comes down to insight, perspective, and using your intuition to relate with the messages. I really hope that makes sense. Let me know if there's any questions. I do see many people saying hello. Hello, everybody. I'm really glad that for you to join me and to see you on my live podcast or my live broadcast. Speaking of the podcast, yes, Lindsay, thank you. Keep watch. I will be releasing those new episodes this summer. I do have a bit of a teaser episode on there that tells you a little bit about it, so check it out. staffordtarot.com/podcast, or on many podcast providers. If there's any other questions, just throw them out into the chat. I do see, I'm just going to look through. Jennifer is my first reading for tonight. Jennifer, thank you so much for requesting a reading. And anyone else who would like to receive a reading tonight, just let me know. I am offering up to 6 free short remote readings to anyone who shows interest in the chat during. Elizabeth, I do see your name there. And Lindsay, thank you so much. And just let me know. All you have to do is type interested in the chat. I will watch for that coming up and add your name to the list. I have 3 more spots available. Hi, Ashley. Absolutely. So I have 2 more spots available if anyone else is interested. If I run out of spots, like I said, I am offering only up to 6 free short remote readings. If I run out of spots, I will automatically include anyone else who was interested into the upcoming draw that's happening on Monday, August 19th. So you still get a chance to participate and get involved and possibly win a free remote reading. Now, the difference between this, which is a distant remote reading versus a online remote reading over Zoom, the distance between that and this is that during this broadcast, I all the conversation is usually like one way. People will text me in the chat the subject or question that they want me to focus on, and I go through the reading. There is opportunity to ask some question, but it's not a direct interaction. Whereas over Zoom, it's more of a direct interaction. It happens as a back and forth conversation. You can ask questions throughout the reading. As the messages are coming up, we can clarify. There's a bit more options, a bit more flexibility in the reading available during a remote reading over Zoom. And that's what you win from, that's the chance that you win from the draw. I'm just looking through some of the messages there. Hello, everybody. Absolutely, Jeff. Thank you so much for that. I will add you too. Now, the list so far has compiled as follows. If you requested a reading and you didn't hear your name, please let me know and I will add you to the list. The first name that I have is Jennifer. Then I'm going to do Elizabeth. Then we're going to do Lindsay. Then we're going to go to Ashley. Then we're going to do a reading for Jeff. I have 1 more spot available. If you didn't hear your name and you did request, and I may have missed it, just let me know. It has happened in the past where there was like a 20 or 30-second delay in the messages that come up. So sometimes there might be a little bit of a delay in when I see the message compared to when the message was entered. So just be patient with me as I be patient with the technology that we're using. So Jennifer, if you're ready, let me know that you're still on the call and I will start with you. I'm going to start with a 1-card impression pull that's going to let me know a bit about your energy in the moment. And then I'll move into this deck where if you have a question or topic you'd like me to focus on, or it can be left general. Quite often when readings are left general, the messages that needed to be heard are what show up on the table. But it's up to you, Jennifer, if you want to try and refine what you're looking for from this reading itself. Hi, Jennifer, I see you there. Just let me know if you have a topic or question or if you'd like it general. And for now, I'll just focus on your energy. Feel like this is ready. And I have your 1-card impression pull. I'm just watching for that topic or question. For your 1-card impression pull, Jennifer, this is just giving me an impression of what's in your energy in the moment. And what I have is the Page of Wands reversed. Now, when the Page of Wands comes out like this, it can often represent somebody who's not getting on the go, or you're not getting into the right direction. You're not seeing what action you should take moving forward. Once you figure that out, Jennifer, this card's going to flip around. You're going to be into that direction, taking that action. But in the meantime, it looks like this being reversed. I don't get the sense that you're held back from taking an action. I feel like you just have to figure out what the action is that you need to take. What's really standing out for me, and I can show you on the card, is the way that the particular character is pondering the wand as if he's making decisions, you know, checking out the wand. Is this the right kind? Is this the right action I want to take? And that's what's really standing out for me. And so when it's reversed and that's standing out, it could mean that you haven't figured out what action to take yet. And that action, when you figure that out, is going to lead you into a direction. Absolutely, I will stick to a general reading for you, and we'll see what messages you needed to hear today. I'm just focusing on that and keeping in mind your energy in the moment, Jennifer. I'm going to pull 3 cards from this deck, and we're just going to look at how those cards speak to each other to get those messages. And then if we need to or feel suitable, we can extend further into other decks. Now, I feel like it was a confident shuffle. There wasn't a lot of mishaps in the shuffle itself. It felt very flowy, very confident. And so I feel like the energy that I'm connecting with for you, Jennifer, is sort of confident. I think you just need to figure out what it is you need to do. And then, you know, you'll be able to stick with that confidence. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mic. That didn't make a loud noise. 3 cards have come out. They're really interesting. One is a higher arcana, one is a court, one is a suit. I'm going to start at the suit, work to the court, work to the card, a higher arcana. I just feel drawn in that order. This is the cups, the Ace of Cups reversed. And again, when the Ace of Cups comes out like this, it usually represents some sort of realization of emotion or some new way to feel. When it's reversed like this, it's basically saying, you know, you're not changing the way you feel. You're sticking to your emotions. Your emotions aren't changing. That, you know, you could be holding on to the way that it is. The next card is the Knight of Pentacles. Knights are often the action takers in the court of tarot. And when you have an action taker of Pentacles, it often represents it represents needs, which often is symbolized as health or finances. You know, mostly our needs in life, we get our needs from health and finances. If we have everything that we need and we have our health and we're in good order, I think we're good standing, right? And with this card being the way that it came out, I really feel like that there's this action that needs to be taken in terms of health and finances. I'm not sure which it is. I'm having trouble narrowing it down if this is about prosperity or a job opportunity, perhaps, as example, or if it's related to health. I feel like it's about you personally and something that you need personally. And so what's standing out for me actually is the mustache on the facial hair of the knight itself. And that's a really interesting symbolism to stand out for me. It's almost comes across like development of health, like working on a development of health in some way. So you may have an idea on what this is already about. Oh, I can see your message there. In the past, the cards didn't want to go together well. Sometimes that happens, you know, where cards can also be in conflict with each other depending on the message that needs to be delivered. I do believe that surrounding cards can also affect messages that are coming out of a specific card. For you, the card that's really making this kind of effect is the next card that I want to talk about. This is the Higher Arcana card. It's the more important message out of this tarot reading, and it is the Justice card. Now, what's standing out for me in the card itself, Jennifer, is the sword. And the swords in tarot are often about heavy thoughts and intellect. This is about finding justice in the way that you're thinking about this. It could be about you having justice on your mind or making sure that you do this the right way or that you're fair to yourself. There's something like that in this energy as well. And I think that's more the theme of this reading, is about how you're treating yourself, being fair to yourself. Do you have self-judgment on yourself? If this card was reversed, I'd be wondering about the people around you. Are you receiving judgment from others? but because it came out this way, I think it more maybe judgment on yourself as opposed to external. Let me know if that makes sense to you. Okay, thank you for that feedback, Jennifer. Um, it would make sense to me that the cards are saying to get motivated because of the Knight of Pentacles, and what's really bookending this reading is taking action based on your needs and finding justice for yourself, being fair and true to yourself. And in the midst of that is this not changing how you feel. I don't think you want to make changes on what you're doing. I think you just want to continue what you're doing and be sure that you're being fair to yourself in that process. Okay, that would also make sense why the Justice card could be appearing on the table. Um, Interestingly enough, usually if there's some sort of um, court case or judgment involved, the scales would stand out for me, and that it's more the sword. So you may not have as much to worry about this. If you resonate the Justice card with your case that you mentioned, um, it may be more on your head than what's involved. It could be that you're putting the thought into it that needs to be, but I don't get the sense you have anything to worry about. Now, when I bring this reading right back to where you are now in the moment, with this still figuring out what action to take, I think this could be representative of your motivation as you exclaimed in your message there, Jennifer, that when you find that motivation, this card's going to flip around and that action that you take is going to propel you into a direction. But in the meantime, it looks like this. I'm wondering how it would be helpful to extend on this reading further. Um, I'm just looking at my decks at what I'm drawn to most. I'm believing that what I want to do is use my Witch's Wisdom deck. This deck gives great insight in terms of really deep messages that need to come to the surface. I'm going to use this deck to see what messages need to come to the surface that you need to hear. Given that you've connected this reading with this case that seems heavy on your mind, it could be a personal, affecting you. And so I'm just going to look at it from that perspective. What messages do you need to hear for yourself in regards to this reading? Hopefully that will help pinpoint maybe what will help motivate or get things going. So I'm just focusing on that and keeping in mind the energies of the reading right from the beginning. And I'm just asking this deck to bring those messages to the surface. What is deep within that needs to be heard? Okay, really interesting cards have come out. I really like the way that these cards are speaking to each other. They are loud and clear and just all speaking together. And so I'm going to just go through that. I'm going to follow it in the order that they came out. These two are higher arcana cards, one reversed, one not, and then we have a reversed suit. I'm going to start there and work my way towards those more important messages. This is the Two of Fire reversed. It often represents not having to make a choice. If it was this way, it would be like having this choice to make. Um, Fire is often represented in this tarot structure as the actions that we take. Two is often a choice in numerology, or a conversation that we may have with ourselves, finding our place in the world, making a choice based on that. When it's reversed, it's basically saying don't decide or not to make that choice. I think you want to hold your ground. And I think I see that as well in not changing how you feel in your original tarot reading, not changing how you feel with this Ace of Cups being reversed, and then not deciding on an action interestingly enough, what comes to me out of this is continuing the action that you're doing, not changing it. Now, the next card that came out is the Guardian card reversed. And the Guardian card often comes out for someone who is sort of a protector of others, putting their energy into other people, caring for so many around you, animals, family, loved ones, and just putting all that energy out. And quite often the Guardian has difficulty reflecting on themselves. When it's reversed, it's basically saying that that's the process that's needed. You need to focus on you yourself and not so much everyone around you. This could be a depletion of your energy in some way when you need to reserve that energy for your own healing, when I look at the connection with health here. Now, the next card beautifully summarizes all of this up. This is the Shaman card, or the Shaman card. And the Shaman card is often about knowing ourselves well, doing the shadow work that's involved, getting to better understand what we're going through, what we're feeling, how would we feel if. You can see here that the shaman on the image is drumming a drum. He's blindfolded so that he can focus on the sounds of nature, the vibrations of the drums, and his own inner voice and what is being said to him through intuition. This card is not reversed. And so what I think this is really saying is to connect with that inner self. Do the shamanistic work in order to find where you fit in the world or in the universe or within nature. What is the connection that you create for yourself? When I look at how these cards speak together, the Shaman card and the Guardian card, it's all about going within, knowing yourself, understanding where you're coming from instead of everyone else around you. And don't change the direction that you're taking. I really feel like that's strong in this. That's a great reflection right there, Jennifer, that you mentioned, and what you need to learn from the journey. Quite often, as I have said many times, the journey is often the lesson itself. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Pardon me. Throat starts getting dry when I get into the readings. Look for the lessons within the journey. I'm wondering if I can extend on this a little further. Given what you said about reflecting on the path and what you need to learn from the journey, I'm wondering if it would be helpful to pull one card from my Sacred Destiny deck. This deck I've used to define the portion of life path that someone is walking. If I can do that in this reading, relating it to the what's come up on the table, it may help us understand why this is happening if we look at the portion of life path that this involves. Especially if you see it as a life lesson that you're learning along the way, this may help understand the subject of that lesson, or the what's the word I'm looking for? Not desire of, but the indication of where you're headed, you know? I hope that makes sense. And here's the card that's come out. This is the Purification card. Now with this deck, I do like to show the image on the card to my sitters or clients, because quite often with this deck, I get comments from my clients or sitters like, this image was important to them because. And so look for things that stand out for you in this image. Reflect on how that's important to you. The Purification card in this deck is often about finding purification. It could mean that because this is a portion of your life path, quite often the lessons from our life path repeat from previous lives. So it could mean that in a previous life, you may not have been able to reach that purification. You may have had all sorts of ailments that you've had to deal with. And so in this life, there's this need to get past that, to purify yourself, to cleanse, to be healed. I'm just reading the message that's come up here. That's an excellent point, Jennifer. Based on the messages that you've been putting into the chat, I get the sense that you have an empathic feel to you, that you are probably an empath and pick up the energies from other people. And so it would make sense to me that if you think the lesson has been to champion for others, but to protect yourself and not pick up their energies, that would go right hand in hand with that. You know, empaths often have difficulty understanding what is theirs and what is someone else's. And when you meet someone who has an issue or has a problem, and, you know, being empathic, you want to help them, you end up taking on their problem, you take on that energy, and it becomes part of you, your problem, when it's not really your problem. Yes, I understand what you're talking about, Jennifer, for sure. Thank you so much for those messages. I do hope that this is helpful. Let me know if you have questions on how the cards have come out. When I look at this reading as a whole, Jennifer, I just want to highlight that you have fire and wands. You have swords, which are like heavy thoughts and intellect, similar to air. And then you have cups. So cups, pentacles, wands. The only sword that really stood out in terms of air and intellect was on the Justice card. So it's not necessarily a suit. And so what I find interesting about what stands out for me when I look at this reading as a whole is that you needed messages in terms of the messages that are the actions that you're taking and the emotions that you're feeling and the needs, but you're not needing messages in terms of what's on your mind. I think you have a clear idea on what's happening. I think you have a good way of looking at this. I think you're thinking about this correctly, because if you weren't, you'd have swords all over the table. You would need messages regarding heavy thoughts and intellect, but you don't. The messages that you need to receive, Jennifer, are about the actions you're taking, about the emotions involved, and about the needs. So keep that in mind. I really do think that you're probably on the right mindset, or you've got the right thought process going. You just got to figure out what actions you need to move forward. Oh, thank you for that confirmation. I do appreciate that this is 100% correct. I appreciate knowing that I'm on the right track. You're very welcome, Jennifer. Thank you so much for letting me do your reading for you. I'm just going to put the cards away and decharge them, and then I'll move on to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, if you're still on the call and available, let me know. And if you have a specific topic or question you'd like me to focus on, again, just write that into the chat. And otherwise, I can leave it general. Now, I should have mentioned at the beginning of the readings that each reading takes about 10 or 15 minutes to get through. And so given where we are on the list, for example, I'm going to do a reading for Elizabeth, and then Lindsay next, and then Ashley, and then Jeff. So Ashley, you have about a half an hour wait before your name is going to come up on the list. And Jeff, you probably have about a 45-minute wait before your name comes up on the list, before you get to your reading. So just a heads up. And I do have one more spot available on my list. If anyone is still interested to receive a reading tonight, just let me know by showing interest in the chat, and I will add you to the list. Thank you for that question, Ashley. You can ask any kind of question that you'd like, or you can leave it general. What I like to do is I don't want a whole lot of information at the beginning of the reading. I want you to confirm and affirm the messages that come out. So what I would like is just a very basic general topic or discussion topic or question that you might have that I can focus on for the reading. And then I'll focus on that reading to look at what messages relate to that. If you're not sure what question to ask, or if you have more than one question you'd like to analyze, I often recommend leaving it general, because what you need to hear most is what's going to come out in the cards. Absolutely, Alex. Thank you for that. I will add you to the list. And that is my 6 free readings for tonight. So Elizabeth, I'm going to get started with your reading now. I'm going to start with a 1-card impression pull. This is just going to tell me where you're sitting energetically in the moment. And then I'll move to this deck where I'll focus on your general reading that you've requested. So for you, Elizabeth, I have the Queen of Cups. Queens in tarot are often decision makers. They sit in the throne to make the decisions in the best interest of their kingdoms or their worlds or their realms, reigns. Cups are about emotion in tarot. And so when you have these decisions to be made, they're emotional decisions when it's the Queen of Cups. And quite often these can be decisions that are nurturing and caring and affect the people around you. This card is not reversed. And so for you, Elizabeth, I see you sitting in the Queen of Cups throne. You're pondering or making some emotional decisions. Let me know how that resonates. And then I'll start your general reading here. What's really standing out for me is the facial expression on the Queen itself, just showing the pondering. And that's where I get the impression that it's still figuring out the emotions of the decisions that need to be made. That sounds accurate for sure. Okay, thank you for that confirmation, Elizabeth. I appreciate just knowing that I got the right sense there. So I'm going to pull 3 cards. We're just going to look at how those 3 cards speak to each other. Now, a high arcana, a suit, and a court, and a high arcana. I think that this pattern is repeating from the last one, but with different energies. This is really interesting reading to come out. I'm just going to go in the order that's come out, not necessarily in the usual order of leaving the more important message to the end. I just feel drawn to going in this order. This is the Queen of Rods, and it often represents, again, making decisions in terms of actions being taken. So right now, you're pondering the emotions involved in these decisions, and then you're going to need to take action. And that's what this is saying. In the moment, you're pondering and figuring out these emotions. In the reading itself, there's going to be decisions about actions that need to be made. Now, the Fool card reversed is what comes out next. And I just want to point out, first of all, Elizabeth, that the Fool card is not necessarily about being a fool. It's about perception. When the card's like this, it gives the perception that everyone around you thinks, or has the perception that you're the fool when you know exactly what you're doing. It uses the symbolisms of like a person who's madly in love and they're just like fluttering through the air, just flittering, so light on their toes, and they're walking towards danger blindly, and people are looking at them like, you're an idiot. It's a fool, but he knows exactly what he's doing. When the card is reversed, it often means the opposite of that. It means that everyone else sees you as you know what you're doing. You seem like you're not the fool, and you yourself don't have that confidence. You feel like you're the fool. You are not looking at it in the same way as everyone else. Everyone else thinks that you have your act together when you think that you're discombobulated in some way. I think once you figure out the confidence that's needed, or once you figure out the ways in which you need to look at this for yourself, that's going to help you get into that Queen of Rods throne to make those decisions. Now, the next card is a great message for you, Elizabeth, and I like to call it the bliss card. It's the 10 of Cups. Cups in tarot, as I mentioned, represent emotion, and 10 is like when we reach that final goal and there's this repeat where it brings us back to a beginning again. It can often mean happiness, bliss. And when the card is this way, that's exactly what it's trying to say. As you can see, the rainbows literally shooting out of the main cup, and all of these other cups are in a row. They're totally understood. They're organized. And you can see here that it's just like happiness. I think that's what it's really trying to tell me that this is about. This is about happiness. It's about how you're viewing your situation in the world and the decisions that you're making moving forward about, in regards to the actions that you're taking. These actions, I think you want to focus on what result is going to make you happier. What is the happiest outcome out of this, and base your actions on that. Now, I'm wondering how I can look into this further. I'd like to extend into another deck. I'm wondering, given that this is so personal, it's almost like a life development type of reading. I'm wondering if it would be helpful to look at it from my heart chakra deck. I use this deck a lot because it connects with the heart chakra to describe what we need most for ourselves. And if I apply that to this reading, it may give excellent advice moving forward. Oh, that's an interesting comment that you just made there, Elizabeth, that that card came through the last reading as well that you had. If you find that cards are repeating themselves, often tarot will do that to try and hammer home the messages. So if you didn't listen the last time, it's trying to tell you again. Now, 3 cards have come out. One's a higher arcana and 2 suits. I'm going to start at the 2 suits and work towards that more important message of the higher arcana. Um, I'm going to start here. I am drawn to this card to start here. So that's where I'm starting. This is the 2 of fire. It's often about finding balance, and it's reversed, meaning that it's not really about finding balance. It's not about finding your place in the world or in the universe. If the card was this way, it would be exactly that. It would be about communicating with yourself to find where you fit in the world, or making a choice about how you want to see the world. When it's reversed, it's basically saying that, you know, you see the world the way you see it. I don't think there is a choice in that. I think you just kind of have to accept what it is moving forward and make the best of it. Now, this also is where I'm getting that kind of message with these 2 cards speaking together. This is the joy and stability card. It is the 4 of emotion. 4 in numerology is often about grounding, finding structure for ourselves, and emotion in tarot is represented by water in this tarot structure. So this is a water card, the 4 of water, and it's representing joy and stability. When it's reversed like this, it's basically saying that this isn't about necessarily creating structure and stability. So not finding a balance and not finding joy and stability. I think that's an interesting message to come out because of the card that comes up next, and I'll talk about that in a sec. But with these 2 cards speaking together reversed, I really think that what it's really saying is don't change what you're doing. You know, I think you're going to reach this blissful happiness if you take the right actions for yourself. So you don't want to find balance for everyone else around you. I think it's more about what you need for yourself. And in terms of stick to what you have that makes you happy. Don't make changes that you think are going to make you happy and they're really not. There's something like that happening here. And the next card may summarize it all. This is the Higher Arcana card that gives the theme of this reading, and it's the Manifest card. This would be like the Magical Practitioner card. This card often comes up for someone I'm reading for who would be considered like a witch, somebody who could do spell work to bring forth their intended desire. And that's what this card represents. It's about making it happen yourself, manifesting, putting in the effort and energy to make it happen in your life. With the Manifest card coming out in this way, it's interesting with the messages that come beside that. Not finding balance and not being about stability and joy. I think what this is really about more so is needs, what you need for yourself. The perspective of you is more important than the perspective of others. Manifest your desire. I think what this is really saying is you have it in you to do this. And I also see that in the original reading as well, with you know, if you take the right actions, you find this confidence, you're going to find that happiness. I think I'd like to extend one more time further using another deck. And the deck that I am drawn to, which is really interesting to me, is my Ethereal Kin deck. Now, this deck normally talks about based on personalities, types of people. I'm going to use this to get into your energy, Elizabeth, on what the personality is that you may be experiencing or up against, or what could be the character trait that needs to change, what is in your way in terms of yourself. I'm really looking at this from a, sort of a shadow work perspective, given that there's the Manifest card on the table. Now, the reason why I'm going in this route with the Manifest card on the table is because in order to manifest our desire, we need to understand our true intention and where we're coming from. And I'm hoping that this might gain some clarity on that. The card that I get is the Eight of Cups. Now, the card did originally come out reversed, but I want to show the imagery the way that the card was intended, because they are a little hard to show up on camera because of the watercolor involved. But these are beautiful cards, and I think there's an important message in this. Now, the Eight of Cups, 8 in numerology is often about finding success, leading towards that goal, and cups are about emotion. When we're emotional about reaching towards that goal, it can often mean that we're really excited, looking forward to it. When it's reversed, we may need some confidence. We may feel distracted or discouraged a little bit about where we're headed or reaching that goal. And so you'll just want to be careful that you're not discouraged too much. Don't discourage yourself. If you can show yourself some encouragement, some support, find that grounding, this card's going to flip around and you're going to be more in this energy of just finding your way, not being so discouraged, taking the time that's needed to get there, perhaps doing what's right for yourself, allowing the emotions to not overwhelm you. But in the meantime, the card looks like this. Do you have any questions, Elizabeth, about any of the cards that have come out? Oh, you're very welcome. I see your message there. Wow, thank you. You're very welcome, Elizabeth. I do hope that this is helpful. If you have any other questions, please let me know. I will start to decharge and put away the cards. Totally spot on. Thank you. Oh, thank you for that message, Elizabeth. I really appreciate that. You're very welcome. And now I'm going to move on to Lindsay. Lindsay, if you're on the call, just let me know. And if you have a question or topic to focus on, otherwise we can leave it general. And I'm just going to clear the cards here. I'm just thanking the cards as I clear and cleanse the energies so that we can move on to the next reading with Lindsay. Hi, Lindsay. Thanks for letting me know you're there. And a general reading? Absolutely. Just take me a moment to organize myself here. And so, Lindsay, I am now beginning to focus on your energy for your one card impression pull. I always like to start my readings with a one card impression pull because I find it can be helpful to look at how the reading turned out and then where you're sitting energetically in the moment. This is comparable to what I offer for free at markets or festivals when I'm at an event, that when people come to the Stafford Tarot table, when I'm between private readings, then they can get a one card impression pull. And it just tells me where they're sitting energetically in the moment. And for you, Lindsay, I get the High Priestess card. This is a higher arcana card, so it is an important message in terms of the energies around you. And what this is really talking about, normally this can be a frustrating card to get up in a tarot reading in an impression pull, but it didn't come out reversed. So I'm really happy about that, because if it came out reversed, the High Priestess card reversed often speaks to if I told you it wouldn't happen, so it's not going to tell you. So it's almost like an unknown. And it's not coming out this way. It's really about finding guidance in yourself. If you find the guidance in yourself, others will be able to look up to you. And that's the message that I'm getting from this High Priest card, or High Priestess card. What's really standing out for me is the way that they're sitting in the throne, almost like they're waiting for something. And so I really just think that you have guidance inside that you can trust. I think if you follow your intuition, what's standing out for me is the moon at the feet of the priestess. I really think that if you follow that intuitive sense, that's going to help you guide yourself forward. Quite often, this can be a card that comes up for someone who may be looking on how to guide themselves forward, or perhaps you be feeling a little lost on moving forward, or you feel like you may need some guidance yourself. But just know that often with this card, people are looking up to you, and you may or may not realize that. When you think of the High Priestess and what it actually stands for, a High Priestess governs a coven. They run their members through rituals. They are there as a guide and support to its members. And interestingly enough, the Empress has appeared with the High Priestess. And what I find really fascinating about this is, again, the Empress has the same moon under the same foot in the imagery. Again, trusting your intuition, making sure that you're strong in your guidance, looking to yourself for that support. You know, when a character stands on the moon, it's about finding structure and grounding in your intuition. It's about knowing and trusting that intuitive sense. I'm going to lead my way up to that card. I feel like there's more messages involved in that. But the first card that I want to talk about, Lindsay, is the Four of Swords reversed. This often represents someone coming out from inside, sort of like coming out of your shell. If you were introverted, if the card came out this way, it would be the opposite. It would be going within, staying quiet, focusing on yourself, becoming introverted or staying introverted, really sticking to your own. And when the card is reversed, it's more like you're opening up. You're starting to step into a power, or you're starting to be more on the front, you know, coming out of that shell, so to speak. The card in the center of this reading is all about what you have for yourself in the way that you see your life and how you'd like to see fit. This is the Nine of Pentacles, and it represents just that. Nine in numerology is about success and reaching that goal, that destination. And pentacles are about needs, either health or finances, what we need for ourselves. And what's standing out for me is the way this person is in their exotic garden. They have their fancy robe, they got their exotic pet on their shoulder, they're eating their fancy fruit. And so this is the way that they saw their life. This is the way that they envisioned their life being put together in the way that they would want. And what this tells me, Lindsay, is that you're in the process of putting your life together in the way that you want to see fit. It often represents the process of doing that, of reaching towards that goal. When you've reached that goal, this card will flip around. You'll no longer be in the process of making your life look the way it should. It'll look that way. So there's progress here. And I really feel like this coming out of inside and making your life the way that you see fit. I feel like these cards speak together in terms of like, how do you do that? You need to come out of your shell. You need to bring stuff from inside out and explore it and analyze it and understand yourself better. And that's going to help you put your life together in the way that you see fit. And that brings us to the Empress card. Sitting in that responsibility, taking that on, doing what you need to do for yourself, and just following your intuition and using that as a guide and ground to guide you. When I look at this reading and bring it back to where you are now, again, what really stands out for me is the moon on both of these cards, the way that both the High Priestess and the Empress are relying on their intuitive sense. I'm wondering how I can extend on this further. I'm drawn to my Zen deck for this reading. Um, Given that this seems to be more internal and coming out, quite often when we need to not be introverted anymore, it means that we need to interact with others around us. And that's one thing that this deck really describes well, is how we interact with the energies around us. So I'm just going to focus on that as I focus on your reading. I'm asking this deck to give us the description of what you need to hear in terms of those deep messages inside, on how you need to interact with the energies around you. I'm hoping that this gives some insight and advice moving forward that would be helpful in terms of this reading. And interestingly enough, we have another moon standing out for me. So again, it's, following that intuition. And I'm going to start there. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to start here and work my way there. I'm being sort of corrected on the flow of this reading. I think that's a fascinating card. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. This is the moment to moment card. It's represented by the Two of Pentacles. It can often be about making a choice, finding balance in your needs, and doing what you need to do to get there. You can see here that the person in the image is kind of taking their time, taking their steps very carefully, and walking sort of this cloud. It's really about going with the flow and making it work for you. Um, a lot of times somebody would look at this footing, or this path, and think that's impossible to walk. I can't walk on the clouds. I can't step between them like that. I don't have the confidence. I don't have the security. It's about finding the confidence, finding the security, finding the way to do this and make it happen. And that's what this card is represented to me. This is the maturity card. It's often represented in tarot as the sort of the ace of needs, the ace of pentacles, or the ace of earth in this tarot structure. And what it's really representing is finding what you need for yourself, taking the mature route, not looking at this in immaturity, but being mature about it, making the right decisions for yourself. And what's really standing out for me is how the person itself as a self is highlighted. I really think that that's really important in this, that it's really about how you develop, how you mature. Given that the moon is standing out for me so much in this reading, I would suggest that the development could be about your intuition. And what gives me that thought is the Higher Arcana card. This is the second Higher Arcana card. 2 is often about a choice, finding where we fit in the universe, perhaps. And it's about listening to that inner voice. And again, this moon is really standing out for me on above at the top of the card. Following that intuitive sense, following that intuition, developing that intuition, listening to that inner voice as an intuitive sense. I think that is what's going to help you most in this Lindsay, is developing that intuitive sense. I'd like to extend just one more time further. I think I'm going to look at my heart chakra deck again. As I said, this deck gives great advice on what we need for ourselves, and it just seems like there's something that you need for yourself moving forward here, Lindsay, and we're going to see if we can narrow that down a little. What was interesting about the last cards that I pulled out is I asked that deck to give us the description of how you interact with the energies around you. And it really gave a better description on how to interact with yourself. I find that really fascinating because normally that card is really good at looking at an external aspect, and it kind of went internal. I think that was more important for you to hear than what the deck had to say. So I think that this deck was a good choice to move to. Let's look for those internal messages. Two different chakra cards have come out. Now, what I find fascinating about that is I asked the heart chakra deck to give us insight, and it pointed us to two other energy centers. I'm going to start in the center and work my way to those other cards. This is the one of fire, and it represents strengthening the bonds, taking the action that you need to create those relationships, strengthening those relationships. There could be people around you that could help you through this if you just strengthen those bonds. Reach out to the people who can help you most. What's really standing out for me are the trees that are making the sort of path or tunnel that this person is walking from or to. I feel like that they're walking towards the light, and so trees for me stand out as being a developmental path, development, growth, maturity, and we've seen some of those messages already in this reading. So I really think what you need to hear for yourself is there could be people around you that could help strengthen this for you, or if you strengthen those bonds, that could help you then work on what you need or get the assistance or support that you need perhaps. Now the two chakra cards I'm going to talk about together, one is reversed and one's not, and that often represents an imbalance of some kind, okay? You have your crown chakra that's not reversed, and then you have your third eye chakra that is reversed. So I'm going to talk about them separately, even though I feel like they're speaking together. I'll get to that in a moment, okay, Lindsay? The crown chakra card is often about how much thought we put into this. If we need a balance in this, because the card is upright, it's telling me that you're working on that balance, that you're trying not to give it too much thought and trying not to give it not enough thought, and you're finding that balance of in between. What is the right amount of thought? Not too much, not enough, but the right amount. And that's what this card represents. It's the process of figuring that out. However, with the third eye chakra being reversed, it means that you're having trouble balancing this chakra out. Now, this chakra is all about how we envision, the way that we use our intuitive sense. This is the third eye chakra. It's all about intuition, visions, guidance. When we think of psychics, psychics are using their third eye chakra to do most of the psychic work that they're doing. This makes sense to me if you feel like this is connected to your intuition in the same way that I do. Given the amount of moons that have come out and this maturity card and the moment to moment, I really feel like, again, it's speaking to this development, this balancing is needed on your third eye chakra. And if you create that balance for yourself, this card's going to flip around. You'll be in the process of balancing that third eye chakra. And if you can balance your third eye chakra with your crown chakra together, that's where you will be predicting outcomes. You'll be connecting with spirit perhaps, or like you're using your intuition and your knowledge together in a balanced way. But in the meantime, it looks like this. So you're giving it the right amount of thought, but what you envision may be inaccurate, or what you're having trouble envisioning perhaps. Once you create a balance on that third eye chakra, it'll become more, you'll become more able to envision where this will lead, or you'll be able to attune more with that intuitive sense. When I look at this reading as a whole and the way that it's come out, Lindsay, you have wands, you have pentacles, you have swords, no cups. I find that interesting. As I said in a previous reading tonight, what shows up on the table can be just as important as what doesn't show up. And you have no cups. So you're not needing messages in regards to the emotions that you're going through. I think you understand exactly how you feel, and that's why you're not needing messages about that. The messages that you're requiring are more about the actions, the needs, and what's on your mind, more so than anything. And I would say that the needs are at a forefront. They're the most. I mean, you have 3 pentacles. 3 in numerology for me is all about self-communication and how we communicate that to ourselves. And so, yeah, finding the right things for yourself moving forward is going to be important in this. And again, don't let the High Priestess discourage you if that's where you're sitting energetically now. Because this card isn't reversed, I would say that there is a good chance that you'll be able to do this, that you'll be able to develop that intuition, and people will start to look up to you. I do hope that this is helpful, Lindsay. Oh, thank you for that message. So spot on. I definitely know how I feel. Thank you so much for that confirmation. Just lets me know that I'm on the right track. I'm going to put the cards away and clear the energy, and then I'll move on to Ashley. Ashley, if you're available and on the call, just let me know. And if you have a topic or question you'd like to ask, feel free. Otherwise, I can leave it general. You're very welcome, Lindsay. Thank you so much for letting me do your reading for you. And I'm just clearing and cleansing the decks of the energy. And then we will look at Ashley. Oh, hi, Ashley. Thank you. I just saw your message there. General, absolutely. I can do that. Let me just put away these cards. The more decks I use, the more time this takes. Now, this was comparable to a short reading that I offer within 15 minutes. This is usually, each reading is about a $25 cost or value. And this is what you would typically see in a short reading, a 3-card pull with extensions of several decks. In a full reading, just to explain the difference, in a full reading, which takes about a half an hour or longer, a full reading would involve a spread or layout where the cards fit into, and it's read in more depth with a bit more of an altercation on the meanings of the cards directed towards the topic or question that's been asked. And they typically take a little more time. So Ashley, I'm going to start focusing on you. I'm just connecting with your energy and charging the cards with that intention. What I'm asking this deck for is a 1-card impression pull that's going to give me a sense of where your energy sits in the moment. And then I'm going to move to this deck where I'll focus on that general reading that you've requested. The card that I get for you, Ashley, is the Emperor card. It did not come out reversed, and so I'm getting a sense. There's 2 senses that come from this card, so I'm going to need you to help me understand which one I should go towards here, or both. This feels like a big responsibility that has consequences involved in it, and you're sitting in that responsibility. Now, if this card was reversed, it could mean that you're not wanting to sit in that responsibility, or you're not able to handle this responsibility. There's no way you want to sit in the Emperor's chair. When it's this way, it means that this is a responsibility you can handle, even though it's heavy, it's big. The Emperor is often about heavy responsibility, and there are consequences involved with taking on this kind of responsibility. Now, the other sense that I get from this card, and do correct me if I'm wrong, Ashley, I do feel like it's pointing to a fatherly figure of some kind. So let me know how that connects and where that makes sense. If the fatherly figure is connected with this responsibility that you're sitting in, now this is not their responsibility, this is your responsibility. So let me know how you relate to that message, okay? And I'm going to continue to focus on your general reading. Now, when I say fatherly figure, I mean that as in a masculine symbolic of some kind. Oh, okay. That would certainly make sense. Yes, Ashley. Thank you for explaining that. Absolutely. In your energy now, with both your parents passed and left you the oldest child to watch over your other siblings, that is definitely a huge responsibility, and it would make sense to me why that would be related. I'm just focusing on your general reading and charging the cards with that intention. Now, the three cards that have come out are really interesting. Again, we have the Ten of Cups, the Justice card reversed, and the Queen of Pentacles not reversed. This is really interesting outcome, very similar to a reading tonight, but with different energies and messages. Now, I'm going to just start in the order that they came out. I'm going to go in a different order. I'm going to go in the order that I'm drawn to here. I just feel I think it's more important to go in the different order. The Queen of Pentacles is where I'm going to start either way. This is about sitting in the Queen's decisions chair. Like when you sit in the throne of the Queen, you're making decisions in the best interest of your world, your kingdom, your realm. And these decisions are often about health and finances with the pentagram. With the pentacle, I do feel like it's both, because what's standing out for me is not only the oak leaves and acorns from the imagery, but also the jewelry of the queen. And the jewelry often represents when we need prosperity, how we interact, the ways that we spend our money. And then the oak tree is all about healing and making the best decisions for yourself in terms of like what you need for your health. If I apply that to how the emperor has come out and with your message, it would suggest to me that this is really about the responsibility of what you've taken on, all the decisions that are involved in that. Now, the next card is the Ten of Cups. This is often, I call this the bliss card when it comes out like this. If it was reversed, it would be a very different story. It came out like this, and so this is about leading up to happiness, creating a happy home, creating this bliss. You can see here that all the cups are in a row. They are organized. You know exactly how you feel in terms of what's involved in this. It's just about making it happen in the best way. Now, the Justice card reversed. This feels totally unfair. It is not the way that was expected to go. When the Justice card is reversed, it can often represent that you have a lot of judgment on you from the people around you, perhaps. Just know that it's not judgment upon you, so you can feel confident with the way that you've gone forward with this. I almost feel like you could dismiss everyone else because you've done what you can. If it came out this way, it would be the other way around. You'd be feeling judgment on yourself. You would probably be feeling discouraged in some way. So just know that don't let all those other opinions discourage you in the way that you've gone through this, okay? And again, when I bring this back to the emperor, with all this responsibility, and then feeling the pressures of that responsibility, I think is what really this reading is detailing. The decisions that have to be made, the justice and injustice that's involved in this, and then really just working and attempting at making this a happy life, a blissful situation. I'd like to extend on this reading further, as I do in a short reading. I'm being drawn to my Sixth Sense deck. Now, this deck often is drawn to me where messages just need to be given, and they are from a Sixth sense. So I don't often know the direction that this deck is going to go. It often just gives the message that needs to be heard. It knows the message that needs to be heard just based on a psychic, intuitive sense. And so I'm just going to trust the deck and ask the deck for the messages. Now, I feel like only one card should be pulled, so I'm only going to pull one card. This is the Jeopardy card. It looks like this. And it really represents feeling the stress of a situation, how something could be in jeopardy. And it's a very sensitive, or like a sensitive situation that has to be handled appropriately, fragile situation perhaps, and just feeling like something could just unexpectedly create such turmoil. It's using the depiction of a asteroid coming from the sky, and just obviously it's unexpected. You can see this field of children playing. There's a bicycle there, and they've all stopped to watch what's falling from the sky. It's really about feeling like the sky is falling around you, and you just have to figure out what to do, pick up the pieces. Everything's in jeopardy. This can be a state of crisis. So just know that quite often this card can represent possibly what's happening now or what is to come. So there could be a something that needs to be overcome in order to move forward. It doesn't necessarily have to mean disaster and destruction. It really depends on how you view and approach the situation. Now I'm going to extend one more time. Um, I'm I'm being called to my um, alchemy deck. I'm going to use this deck just to highlight the messages that need to be heard. I'm going to pull 3 cards from this deck. This deck uses numerology and numerology symbolisms to deliver the messages. And so sometimes it brings up numbers that you've seen in synchronicity. Sometimes it can bring up just messages that you need to hear. It really works on a very personal level. And so I'm just going to ask this deck for 3 cards for messages that need to be heard in terms of this moving forward. And really interesting cards have come out. First of all, the Dominance, the Healer Servant, and the Hierophant, with a life energy number, and just the Church card. I'm going to start there. This is really about fundamental beliefs, knowing the structure of the systematic approach that you're taking. Um, 5 in numerology is often like a halfway point. It's a choice that we can make. There's just as much effort and distance to get to the goal as there is a starting over and going back to the beginning. And I feel like for you, it's like a constant choice. There's this choice of moving forward or going back to the beginning. Constant choices that have to be made. That makes sense to me if you're sitting in this heavy responsibility. Now, the Healer card and the Dominance card are reversed, and so I'm going to talk about that. I don't think I think the healing is going through. I don't think the focus is necessarily on healing anymore, as you've kind of gotten past this. I don't know how long it's been since your parents passed away, as you've mentioned in your text messages there, but I feel like the healing is in progress. You're getting through that healing, and you'll be able to like move on from it, not forget it, obviously, not discard it, but it'll always be a part of you, but to move on from it in a healing fashion is what I get from this, and that it's not going to have dominance over you. I feel like these 2 cards are speaking together in terms of that, and so I think you're coming to a place where this is no longer going to dominate, that eventually this will, you'll get to the healing as you go through that process, And you just have to make a choice on, what direction you're going to go in terms of that, what you need for yourself. I do hope that this is helpful and makes sense, Ashley. Thank you so much for sharing that and your messages. If you have any questions about what's appeared here, let me know. I think when I look at this reading as a whole, what's come out is needs and emotions, not the heavy thoughts that are involved and not about the actions that need to be taken. I think you're taking the right action. You're feeling the right emotions. You're working through this. I mean, you can see the progress of healing in the cards. I think you want to be careful looking at this like there's a tipping point, or be careful looking at this like it's a fine thread that could be snapped at any moment. I think you need to have more confidence in yourself, knowing that you can handle this, any situation that comes forward on this. I think you have the knowledge and experience to move forward. The messages that you needed to hear in this reading were about needs and emotions. I do hope that that's helpful, Ashley. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to start to decharge and put away the cards. I'll be watching for those questions if you have any. Oh, there's a question. I'm just going to read this that's come up here. Usually this deck is the Sixth Sense deck in terms of what you need to hear moving forward. If this is still impactful, if you resonate this with something that's happened in the past, as you've explained, follow through with that feeling. It could mean that that is going to impact you still in some way. It may mean that you're going to solve this Jeopardy scenario. That's the sense that comes out of the card. It does not feel like destruction in the way that the picture could be interpreting. It really feels more like the hope, or the outcome of the future that's involved. Kind of like if you took on this situation, it would bring strength and growth and development moving forward from it. I do hope that this was helpful, Ashley. Oh, you're very welcome. I see your message there. Thank you so much. I'm going to decharge and put away the cards, and then I move on to Jeff. Jeff, if you're still on the call and available, let me know. And after Jeff is Alex. So Jeff, just let me know if you're still on the call, and if you have a question or topic you'd like me to focus on, or if you'd like to just leave it general. Quite often, as I've mentioned, when readings are left general, the messages that need to be heard are what come up, but it's up to you if you want to try and refine what you're looking for from the reading itself. No worries. Thank you, Jeff, for letting me know that you're here, and I will definitely do a general reading for you. Just finishing cleansing and clearing the decks. Okay, Jeff, I am starting to connect with your energy and charging the deck with that intention. And what I'm asking this deck for is one card to explain something that's happening in your energy in the moment. I feel like this is already ready. And Jeff, I got the Strength card reversed. Now, anytime the Strength card appears on the table, it tells me that the person I'm reading has this great inner strength. The type of inner strength that I'm talking about is displayed on the card. This person does not have the lion in a headlock. We're not talking physical strength. We're talking emotional strength. We're talking intellectual strength. inner strength that you can put towards your goal. And when it's reversed, it does not mean that the strength isn't there, Jeff. What it means is that you need to believe that it's there. You need to maybe have more confidence in yourself. Knowing that the strength is there is going to turn this around. You're going to be able to take advantage and use that strength. But in the meantime, it looks like this. You have to believe that you're that strong to exhibit that strength. So just trust in yourself, Jeff. I don't know what you're up against in terms of what's in your energy now, but trusting yourself, knowing that you have that strength could make the difference. And I'm just going to focus now on your general reading. I'm just going to pull 3 cards from this deck and look at the way that they relate to each other to get those messages. Now, 2 wands have come up, one reversed, one not, and then a higher arcana. I'm going to work towards that higher arcana as I feel drawn to doing that. I often feel drawn to going towards the more important message in a reading. I think it just makes the messages more clear as we build up to the theme. But if I'm drawn a different way, I usually follow that intuitive sense. This time I'm going in that order. This is the 7 of Wands. This is the one that did not come out reversed. And what this often means is how your actions are different from the other people's actions around you, and you're holding your own. You can see there's this almost competition or conflict of some way, and this person is holding their own against all these other actions. Wands are represented as actions in tarot. And 7 is about spiritual development. It's about knowing your path, finding your own way. And so when we find our own way surrounded by other people's actions, they can be in conflict. People may not be agreeing with the actions that you're taking. Just know that you're holding your own. If this card came out reversed, you would not be holding your own. There would be like, you just giving up on your actions perhaps and merging with other people that are around you when really you were holding, like you could hold your own. So just know that you are holding your own. You are holding on to the actions, and there may be nothing wrong with this action, even though it's different from other people or they may be in conflict with you. It just means that they may need to understand more fully, that they may have a misunderstanding perhaps, and why this action that you're holding for yourself is so important. The feeling that I get from this is almost like King of the Hill. You're trying to stay on the top of the hill while everyone else is trying to knock you off. Excuse me. The next card is the 9 of Wands reversed. This card often represents holding your own. You can see here that this person is up against the actions, and then this person is not necessarily up against the actions. Even though their action is different from the other actions around them, it's not so much in conflict. It's almost like parading your action and others are supporting you. When it's reversed, it means not receiving that support. So again, it goes hand in hand with these 2 cards, holding your own and not receiving the support of the actions of other people around you. Now, what I really love about this reading, Jeff, is your next card. This is the higher arcana card. It gives the more important message of the reading. It is the Star card. This is a higher arcana card, so it is the more important message out of this reading. And what it's really saying, and I love this for the Strength card, you may not believe you have this strength, but you know this light that's inside you, that is this gift or skill that you can shine. And when you shine this light, it often brings benefit or healing to others around you. That is what the Star card represents. If the Star card was reversed, you would have this inner light but not believe that it's there. So you understand what I'm talking about. You have this gift, this insight, or this light that shines inside you, and you're aware that it's there, but you're not aware of its strength. You need to understand how strong you are, especially with this gift. When the Star card and the Strength card appear together on the table, even though they're different readings, this was an impression poll, and this was based on a general topic. they go hand in hand, because the energy that you're in now is not believing in the strength when the reading is saying you have this skill, this light inside you, and you understand that it's there. So you know what I'm talking about. If you're unsure, you need to double check your confidence. maybe write yourself a letter on some of the things that you could appreciate about yourself. That might help you believe more in the things that you need to appreciate about yourself. Um, there could be a confidence thing going on, because in your energy now, you feel like the strength isn't there when it is. It's obviously there, with the star card and the strength card being on the table together. Now I'm going to move into this reading further. I feel like I'm going to use my heart chakra deck again. This seems so personal, and such a personal journey that you may be on. I'm wondering if it would be helpful to look at what you need for yourself in terms of this reading. Maybe it'll help us to discover what's needed for you to understand that inner strength. So that's what I'm focusing on with this deck. What are the messages that you need for yourself? Now, really interesting, two cards have come out reversed and one not. Now, the one that's come not out reversed is the third eye chakra card. Thank you, Jeff, for that message, just letting me know that, wow, yeah, this all makes sense to you. I appreciate that confirmation that I'm on the right track. In terms of moving forward into this reading, you have the third eye chakra, and I feel drawn to that. I need to start there, even though it's the more important message out of this reading. I just feel drawn to starting here. This is the third eye chakra. It did not come out reversed. And with this card coming out, I always find it interesting when the heart chakra deck points me to another chakra energy center. So we asked the heart chakra deck what you needed for yourself from a heart chakra perspective, and it's saying, no, look at the third eye. It's how you envision where you're headed. It's the intuitive sense that you can connect with, and it's saying you're creating those connections. You're creating that balance. So I think you can trust, if you, maybe that's what the star card is trying to tell us, is this buildup of intuition perhaps, or maybe that's the light, the skill that you have inside you. But there's definitely a skill or something that you can hone in on. And with this third eye chakra card being involved in what you need for yourself, I think you can envision what that will look like. What is this light? I think use your intuitive sense to connect with what's happening inside. The strengthening bonds reversed has come out again. Now, this time it's come out reversed with a very different message. It's really saying that you can do this yourself, Alex, or sorry, Jeff. It's saying, Jeff, that you can do this yourself, that you can stand your own, that you can stand in your power, sit in your power. And it's not about anyone else around you. It's really about strengthening the bond with yourself. And the last message that I want to highlight on in this card pull, this 3-card pull, is don't feel like you have to spread your wings. If the card came out like this, it would be like, spread your wings to follow that path, see where the light guides you. It's all about putting in the work. When you spread your wings, you think about what's involved with spreading your wings. You're about to take off. You're about to fly. You're about to flap those wings, put in the energy and the effort to get somewhere. It's saying don't do that. I think what you need to do is more internal than external. It's not so much about showing off or being impressionable. It's just about you yourself inside. And that's the sense that I'm getting from this card. It's more about self-development. And those are the, I don't think it's about getting anywhere physically. It's about getting somewhere internally. Now I'm going to pull just one more card from this deck. This is my Witch's Wisdom deck, and I want to look at what message is deep within that needs to come to the surface. I think that that would be helpful after seeing what's needed, and this may give some insight on some of the shadow work that could be involved in this in order to connect more with yourself, to strengthen that bond with yourself. and sit in your security. I feel drawn to just pulling one card, so that's what I'm going to do. The card that came out is the Three of Fire. Now, the message that needed to be heard for you, Jeff, is you don't need to know the path you're about to walk. You just need to walk it. If the card was this way, there would notice how these they're lighting up the path. There are these little fires that are built along the way, and they're lighting the path leading towards this very wet, swampy, dark looking direction. And when it's reversed, it often means that you don't need to look for the light to guide you. This is not about finding the next step in the direction you need to go. It's about where you want to go. You are the light that will light up your path. You don't require these guiding lights. What it's really saying is guide yourself down the path. I think that message is really important in terms of how this has come out. 3 in numerology is often about spiritual development and growth, how we communicate with ourselves. 3 in numerology is often about communication, either communication with other people or communication with ourselves. I get the sense this is more about self, the communication with your own. And fire is about the actions that we take. When we take actions about communicating with ourselves, it's about connecting within. It's about finding the messages within to know where we want to go or where we're headed. So we don't require those guided lights moving forward. We can be our own guide. And that's what stands out for me in this card for you, Jeff. I think if you connect with the Star card, you can be your own guide, and then flip this Strength card around would be where the focus should be. Knowing your intuitive strength, perhaps, or knowing your internal strengths and using that to your advantage. Do you have any questions, Jeff, about how this has come out, or any of the messages that have been received here? Just let me know. I'll be watching for those messages. I'm going to start decharging and putting away the cards, and then I'll move on to Alex. Alex, if you're still on the call, let me know. And if you have a topic or question you'd like me to focus on, otherwise it can be left general like I've done many times this evening. Absolutely, Alex. I'll focus on that in just a moment. Any other questions, Jeff? No, this has been great. Thank you so much. I just saw your message pop up there, Jeff. So thank you for that. No, I'm glad that this was great. I do hope it was helpful. You're very welcome. I really appreciate doing your reading tonight. So Alex, for you, I'm going to focus on know more about your love life, best friend, and future of my work, if possible. Now, is there an area you'd more like to focus on, or would you like me to focus on all 3 of those areas to see which messages come out that you needed to hear most? Because this is a short reading, I won't be able to touch on all 3 of those questions or topics, but I will be able to narrow down the one that you'd be able to hear most. Okay, I'm going to focus on all 3 and see what the message is that you need to hear most. If you find that it's not reflecting to all 3, it just means that one of them was probably more important to focus on for this reading, okay? And I'm just going to finish cleansing and decharging the decks. Let's get rid of the energies of the last reading so that we can start afresh with a new reading. Okay, Alex, I am focusing on your energy. And this is for a 1-card impression pull, just 1 card that's going to tell me where you're sitting energetically in the moment. And then I'll move on to this deck for the 3-card pull on your question topic of love life, best friend, or future of my work. Now, in your energy now, what I'm seeing is an adversary of some kind in your energy now. This is the Devil card. Now, the Devil card is not about evil. It's not representative of the Christian devil. What it represents is having an adversary, something that you're up against. If this card came out reversed, you would have defeated this adversary and been able to put it behind you. So just know that this adversary is in your energy now. This is something that you're up against. It doesn't necessarily have to be another person. It could be a trait. It could be something that you're up against yourself. I've had this card come up for like alcohol or drug abuse. It's really anything that you're up against. What is the adversary in your energy now? You're up against this adversary. Now, can you relate that to any of the three topics in terms of love life, best friend, or future of your work? Because that will give you a inkling hint on the direction that this reading is going. Because this is in your energy now. So if it's in your energy now, it's most likely an important thing to focus on. So I'm going to just focus on those three topics and see what is urgently going to come up first. Now, three cards have come out. They are all reversed. What that tells me is that this is going to be a difficult challenge, a hard journey to go forward in. I'm going to work towards these two higher arcanas that are speaking together. This is the Four of Wands. This is often about not finding structure in your home life. Four in numerology is about finding structure and grounding. When you think about how four is connected to most things, in order to have a stable house, you must have four walls. It's about the foundations that we use to build up to something structured. And for you, when the card is like this, it means taking the actions to create a happy home. When it's reversed, it means that either those actions were not able to be fulfilled or someone has not taken these actions to create a happy home. There could be actions that have disrupted or disturbed this happy home. Now, the two higher arcana cards, I do feel like they're speaking together, and so I'm going to talk about them together. This is the World card and the Empress card, both reversed. The Empress card is often about responsibility and the responsibility of nurturing and caring, that kind of a responsibility about someone, and it's reversed, meaning that you no longer sit in this responsibility. Either the responsibility wasn't wanted, wasn't needed, or you've had to move past it, like it's no longer an option for you to sit in the throne of the Empress. And then the World card reversed is often about the perception of how you see your world. When the card is like this, it's about seeing your world in the way that it is. You know, you're looking at it from different perspectives and understanding. When it's like this, it can mean a disruption to that. It's about changing the perspective, changing how you see your world, changing how you would like your world to be, perhaps. But it's really about perspective. It's about the viewpoint of yourself looking at your own world, and that there could be changes happening or involved in that. This reading seems to be pointing more towards perhaps your love life than work or your best friend. Now, if it was regarding your best friend, there could be an adversary involved in this but I don't see how your best friend would affect the foundations of your happy home, the responsibilities to nurture and care for someone else in the way that you see your world. I think that's more about perhaps love life. So let me know your thoughts on that, Alex. I'm going to try and extend on this reading further. I'm going to look at this from my Zen deck. I first want to see the interactions that may be necessary or needed, the interactions of the energies around you. This is more from an external source and what you need to do or what you need to know for yourself. And so I'm just focusing on that energy moving forward in this reading. You have a high arcana and two suits. The two suits are intellectual. They are air signs. Um, this is the comparison card. It's often about when we create a comparison in terms of two different aspects. This is heavy on your mind. I can tell that from the color. The 5 is like a choice. It can go either way, and it's about making a comparison, comparing the situation perhaps, or comparing yourself perhaps, but it's really about comparing bark with bamboo. You know, two different things that are very different from each other but have similar aspects, and just deciding there are good qualities for both of these comparisons. It's just depending on how you look at it. This is the isolation card. It's often about communicating with ourselves in terms of what we're thinking. If we communicate heavy thoughts and intellect with ourselves, it can be emotional, and it's showing a release. Sometimes we need to release things from our minds and from ourselves in order to gain that healing. And so that's what this card represents. The drips and melting of the ice is like an emotional release. Now, this is an intellectual card, and so I think it would be more based on how you're thinking than how you're feeling. And what you're thinking could be blocking you or holding you back or freezing you in sight, so to speak, by the card and the way this comes out. And so releasing, letting go of those emotions that are holding you back is going to help you melt the ice. It's going to help you break from the block and move forward. And the last card that I want to point at is the Innocence card. This is the 19th higher arcana card in this tarot structure. And so 19 in numerology for me breaks down to a 1. It's like a repetitive cycle that needs to be acknowledged to stop repeating. And it's really about your how you view yourself. What is the innocence in you? How do you view this? It shows a picture of a very elderly man who's has this innocent interaction with a praying mantis. And what's standing out for me most are the cherry blossoms that are in the background. And so I really think that this is about healing. This is about finding healing within yourself, personal developmental growth, and understanding the innocence within you. What is when we connect with that inner child, so to speak, no matter our age, is really what I'm referring to. It's finding that innocence in yourself. Now, I also get a sense that out of this situation, you've done nothing wrong. And that's also part of the innocence that's coming across in this. Let me know how you resonate with that, Alex, or if that makes sense. I do feel like there's something on your mind that you do need to let go of. Okay, thank you for that feedback, Alex, just letting me know how this resonates with you. I'm going to pull 3 more cards from my heart chakra deck to see what you need for yourself. I think that would be helpful given how this reading has gone and the connections and the ways that you've connected this reading. I'm just going to pull 3 cards from this deck to see what you need to hear for yourself from a heart chakra standpoint. Now, this deck has been pointing us to a lot of other heart energy centers tonight, so it'll be interesting to see how it directs us in this reading. Now, this is really fascinating. I have 3 higher arcana cards coming out and speaking together. And I find this fascinating because it just means that this is an extremely important message in terms of the reading that's on the table. And I was asking this deck for sort of insight moving forward. What did you need for yourself, Alex? And here's what it said. It said you need to nurture yourself, not the people around you, which would have been this way, nurturing and, getting that nurturing out there, finding that nurturing for yourself to give to others. When it's like this, it's more about yourself. 3 in numerology is about communication. I do get a sense that this is communicating with yourself on where you need to nurture, what you need to nurture for yourself. And that's what's standing out for me. You can notice the picture on the card itself is this person connecting with nature. They're sitting in this very nature environment in the grass, and they have some flowers around them, and you can see the light just pouring off of them. They have found their power, and they're nurturing themselves with it, and that's what this is suggesting. Only when the card is reversed, it's nurturing this for yourself, not empowering for others. It's really about you yourself. This is also not necessarily about finding balance. I think you are on the right track. I think you're thinking the right things. I don't think you want to be too harsh on yourself, and that's what this card is representing. If it was this way, it would be about finding balance within yourself. It uses the aspects of like feminine, masculine aspects in conflict with each other, perhaps, or finding how they blend, creating a balance for yourself in 2 opposite aspects. When it's reversed in the way that it's come out, it's really talking about not creating that balance. That I think you have an understanding of yourself. You don't need to create that balance. I think you're gaining that balance. And then the observe card normally looks like this. It came out like this. And so 12 in numerology breaks down to a 3, again, about communication with yourself and how you observe your world. This is very similar to the world card, which you had in your original reading. When I looked for a description of what you were up against in terms of whether this was love life, your best friend, or work, this card came out in terms of how you view your world. What it's suggesting is for you to maybe change the perspective on how you're viewing things. Right now, you're not changing things, and it's suggesting that you might want to look at changing things. Okay. This is really interesting. It's almost like it's in conflict, not to change things, but the suggestion is to change things. It may be more about insight with yourself as opposed to your external world. Looking at how you view yourself, how you view your own, and how you feel about yourself. Showing yourself some self-love, giving yourself some credit for what you've been through. That's what is coming out of this, changing your perspective on your world, not so much about externally, but internally. I see a lot of internal messages coming out of this reading for you, Alex. And so I just think that you need to work on yourself. And that is giving me an impression that there's something within you that may be the adversary, perhaps. But what's standing out for me are the people who are in chains on the card, and that often represents someone else involved, like a third-party person. So let me know how you resonate with that. But given how these messages have come out, I wonder if you're the adversary, if there's something in you that needs to change for you to then find the healing, find the support, find the grounding. Thank you for that message of confirmation there, Alex. It makes sense. Thank you. Just confirming for me that I'm on the right track here. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone who's come on the live to receive readings from me. I really appreciate seeing everyone tonight and delivering the messages that you needed to hear. If there are any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me. www.staffordtarot.com is my website, and on that website there are interaction options available. You can send me a direct message and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. There are options for you to submit messages to me that go to my email, and I can get back to you as soon as I can, as well as the different ways of interacting. If you go to my social media, if you check out the upcoming events and you see me at some of those markets or festivals, let me know that you're there. Let me know that you're around. Come say hello. Look for the Stafford Tarot table at those events. I am more than happy to speak with people while I'm available, and I do offer free one-card impression pulls to anyone who visits me at those markets. Thank you for your question, Alex. I am originally located in Guelph, Ontario. I do travel a lot around the surrounding areas of southeastern Ontario, so I'm often in the Niagara Falls or St. Catharines area. I do travel as far as Kitchener-Waterloo, as well as Fergus and Rockwood, as well as Hamilton, Burlington. I do make my way around the area. I do have a travel fee for more than 60 kilometers outside of Guelph. So that covers quite a range all the way from, Hamilton to Orangeville. Quite a range that I do consider my service area. I do also offer online readings through remote or distant remote options. A remote reading, for example, is what I offer for a chance to win in my draw, but it is a remote reading over Zoom, so it's much more interactive than what you're experiencing on this broadcast. This would be more of a distant remote option. And I also offer pre-recorded readings where somebody can send me the topic or question they have, and I do the reading. I record the reading and send it to them to watch within the privacy of their own time. So different options available. I also offer subscriptions where you can receive those recordings on a regular basis, depending on if you want full moon, new moon readings, or if you have a certain event that you'd like to register for coming up, like weddings, birthdays, anything that you would feel a tarot reading would be helpful on. I do have options for that as well, and the workshops and the other many options that are available on my website. So much to choose from. Just check it out, staffordtarot.com. I want to thank everyone again for letting me do your reading for you. I do hope that all these readings were helpful, and that at any time anyone would like to get involved in my draw, if you're interested to receive a free reading from me, just like, comment, or share any social media that mentions the draw, and you're automatically included. I do actually go through all my posts and collect all the names, and I do a draw with all those names, and it's a 1 in 5 chance to win, so you have a good chance on receiving a tarot reading from me. And if you're interested to look into what services I offer, tarot readings aside from other divination techniques, charm readings, rune castings, tea leaf readings, psychic mediumship sessions, it's all listed and available on my website. So thank you so much. Do take care, and I look forward to joining you again for the next Tarot Talk live event on Tuesday, August 13th, 2024. It will start at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same as tonight. And that Tarot Talk topic is going to be on frequently asked questions regarding tarot. What are the frequently asked questions? Some of the questions I'll talk about that I've received about tarot, some of the questions I've seen that are just always out there in the society. We'll cover some of the misunderstandings about tarot. And of course, you can include your questions if you join me at the next live event on Tuesday, August 18th, 2024. Feel free to join me, submit your questions. If you have questions about tarot, or if there's something you were interested in or wanting to learn more about, I am happy to receive those questions. If you have a question and you don't want to present it during the live, that's okay too. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm a big advocate on allowing everyone to do self-readings. I have a strong fundamental belief that anyone can do this kind of intuitive sense. And it's a human quality in my perspective. So it's just about helping others to achieve that goal for themselves. And I'm more than happy to support and help others. So thank you so much. Take good care, and I will talk to you all again soon. Bye for now.